room so filled with light. We are grateful to Temple Emek Shalom for welcoming us. And we welcome you tonight, parents, grandparents, alum, and friends. It seems we fill every space we are given. The teachers and children of the Siskiyou School are eager to share with you some of the gifts from their classroom. I think about how the year began with the opening ceremony, the rose ceremony, and I look at the first graders and I feel them as part of the school. And I look at the 8th graders and I know that they're not far from graduation. The seasons, they go round and round. We begin tonight with class 3.
It's the 3rd graders who, on the day of graduation, say goodbye to their buddies. So before they do that, we would like to sing a song with them. 8th graders, will you come?
Forever. blog that I'm going to talk about in a minute. And I've had the privileges of coming every morning, being there for an hour, and we're 5 chapters away from finishing the novel Roots, which is an amazing feat, 900-page novel. And it's been an amazing journey to go through with the 8th grade because it's a hard story. And it's a hard story to bring to children that they're on the verge now of moving into a new part of their lives. And it's really a story about seeing each other. It's about seeing how we treat each other. And I've been so privileged to work with this class because their level of honesty and their willingness to look at themselves and to explore their own prejudice and to see, even in our little small ways, in this beautiful community in our own lives where we hold these little dark corners. And it's been a real joy to work with them. Yesterday we came we had to measure the stage and we were the ones to come over and see how it all worked. And we took the walk from the school and ended up in the field of the Nazarene and came down and they were all like, oh my gosh, this is where we had our first grade. And I realized they're the last ones that have the memory of that. They're the last class of the memory of the pods. And I was like 2 classrooms down from them that time. And it's just been such a joy for me to finish up with you and to have this time with you while your teacher's been doing what she needs to do. So the piece that we put together tonight really comes out of this amazing block that's Catherine's baby. It's called All Men Are Created Equal, and it's really about going through the history of the founding of our country and what it was based on, and then looking at the places where it was hard, and civil rights movements, and really looking at the people who were willing to stand up and say, this doesn't feel good. This does not feel good. Just simple people, Rosa Parks, and then of course Martin Luther King. And sitting in on Catherine's lectures, I only get the last usually 5 minutes, but it's always amazing. And the kids are kind of like, did you know these people? Because that's how she tells the stories, and I'm like, I think she did. And in putting together this piece, my part has been literature and poetry, and but it was really a collaborative effort, and that's what's so wonderful about working with an 8th grade, is because they have a lot of ideas. So you'll see a lot of them in this. And I just want to say, 8th grade, this is your 24th assembly, and it's your last assembly. So this piece is called All Men Are Created Equal, Class 8.
My soul has grown deep like the rivers.
77 years ago, our fathers came forth on this continent, a new nation, conceived in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal.
Early in the spring of 1750, in the village of Dopur, 4 days upriver from the coast of Gambia, West Africa, a child was born to Amoro and Binta Kinte.
When the boy, Kunta Kinte, was at 15 reigns, he went from his village to chop wood, and he was never seen again. They came by the great sea, and we were herded like cattle into the dark bellies of ships, swallowed alive by the white man's hunger. We were whipped, chained, taken into the dark night.
I was ripped from Allah. I was ripped from
stand before you, the color of the mountains, colossal as the earth, wrapped so deliciously within my own joy and misery, feathers of my wings paralyzed by the distance of my mind. Here I stand before you, color of the night, frozen by the potential of me. And yet I rise. Out of the heights of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise.
I am a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise.
Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise.
Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of pain. I rise.
And I rise, and I rise. Well, I'll tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It's had tacks in it, and splinters, and boards torn up, and places with no carpet on the floor. There.
But all the time, I sit a climbing on, and reaching landings and turning corners, and sometimes going in the dark where there ain't been no light.
So don't you turn back. Don't you set down on the steps because you find it's kind of hard. Don't you fall now, for I still going, honey. I still climbing.
And life for me ain't been no crystal stair.
Excuse me, may I speak? What's all this here talking about? That man over there says that women need to be helped in the carriages and lifted over ditches and have the best place everywhere. Nobody ever helps me in the carriages or over mud puddles or gives me any best place. Ain't I a woman? Look at me. Look at my arms. I have plowed and planted and gathered into barns. I can work and eat as much as a man. And ain't I a woman?
I can bear the lash as well. And I have borne 13 children and seen most of them sold off to slavery. And when I cried out with mother free, none but Jesus heard me. And ain't I a woman?
You see that little man in black right there? He say that women don't have as much rights as men, because Christ wasn't a woman. Well, where did your Christ come from? Where did your Christ come from? From God and a woman. Now old sojourner ain't got nothing more to say. When I get to be a composer, I'm gonna write me some music about daybreak in Alabama. And I'm gonna put the prettiest songs in it, rising out of the ground like a swamp mist, or falling out of heaven like a soft dew. And I'm gonna put some tall, tall trees in it, and the scent of pine needles and the smell of red clay after rain.
And long red necks, and poppy-colored faces, and big brown arms, and the field daisy eyes of black and white, black people.
And I'm gonna put white hands, and black hands, and brown and yellow hands, and red clay earth hands in it, touching everybody with kind fingers, and touching each other as natural as dew. In that dawn of music, when I get to be a composer, and write about daybreak in Alabama.
I know why the caged bird sings, when his wing is bruised and his bosom sore, when he beats his bars and would be free.
It's not a carol of joy or glee, but a prayer that he sends from his heart's deep core. It's a plea that upward to heaven he flings. I know why the caged bird sings.
I too sing America.
I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes.
But I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Nobody will dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then.
Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed.
I too am America. I too sing America.
I wish I knew how it would feel to be free.
I wish I could break all this change holding me.
I wish I could say all the things that I should say.
Say them loud, say them clear, for the whole round world to hear.
Let us not wallow in the valley of despair. I say to you today, my friends, that even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have
Helene.